Hey folks, Matt here, and today we'll be going to Worcester, Massachusetts to attend the first ever Stormbringer Metal Festival. 15 bands over 2 days, and you'll be seeing a live track from each and every one of those bands in this video, so it should be a good time. Also, stick around after the concert because I'll be talking about the festival in greater detail. I'll also be likely talking about things I didn't get on camera, and of course, the merch haul. So definitely, let's get to it.
Are you ready for some more heavy metal? We did an album kind of in the middle of the pandemic. It came out, it was entitled Keepers of the Flame. Some of you might have heard of it. So this one is from that record. So come with us now into the shadow of Black Peak. Let your mind go.
We put out a little single recently. Has anybody heard it? Yeah! Wow, that was an enthusiastic response. So, yeah, if you haven't heard it, it's a little ditty. It's available on YouTube. It's called Ghost of Reality. We're gonna play it for you right now, in case this was.
All right, so that was day 1 we just watched. We're getting ready to go to day 2. Both myself and, hey, look, it's Eric. There he is.
Hello.
Yeah, Worcester, Massachusetts. I grew up here.
Yeah, we're in the
amazing.
We're in the parking lot right now at Ralph's.
We are. And we got day 2 of this event. We're going to see some cool bands, but let's talk a little bit about day 1. What were some observations that you had about the show?
Every band played really, really well. All similar, where it's like traditional metal where you can understand what they're saying. It's not any death metal or black metal, any shrieking or growling.
Okay.
And then, but every band really put on a good set. You could tell that they were enjoying themselves and they really were glad to be here.
Yeah.
And we looked it up online last night, and then out of all the bands that played, there was only a couple that were from this area. Most were from elsewhere in the country, like Pennsylvania and out west.
It was a Canadian band.
There was a couple of Canadian bands.
Yeah,
too,
at least a couple, yeah.
So it was really cool that they came all this way to play for this festival.
Yep.
And it's supposed to, I guess it's going to be a yearly thing after this year, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah.
So I'll be here every year for it. Yeah.
Speaking of bands, I was definitely digging Gatekeeper a lot. I thought they really stood out.
Gatekeeper was
Also,
good.
Riot City was
Riot City was
amazing.
And it was cool to see Glacier.
Yeah, and Glacier as well. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. So we're going to go inside. We're going to go watch day 2. And then I'll probably come back later and say something else kind of meaningful, kind of not.
And then all the bands on the menu today are similar to the ones yesterday, where it's all traditional metal.
Right. All right.
right, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Stormbringer! You have proved yourselves loyal and worthy.
This next song, some of y'all might know this one. This is off our third album, Speed Metal Mania. This is called Forged by Metal!
awesome world destroyer.
So overall, a really great show. I do have some details I want to talk about, which I need notes for because I have a lot to say. There were some moments during the 2 days where I had some camera malfunctions. Overheating issues seem to be a thing with all cameras, including cell phone cameras. I was using my iPhone 13 for this one largely, and I usually shoot in 4K, but around the Glacier set and Riot City as well, the camera just started overheating and kicking out. I was able to record like 5 seconds a pop. It got really annoying. So I would have rather had better footage of both of those bands because I really wanted to see those two bands a lot. So I dropped down to 1080p, had to do it, but I had to wait for the camera to stop being hot. so I missed out on some stuff. You don't really need to know all this, but I'm going to tell you anyways, just for transparency. Speaking of Riot City, they did an amazing set, probably one of my favorite sets. They did 2 cover songs. They did The Sentinel from Judas Priest, as well as See You in Hell from Grim Reaper, both of which got amazing crowd reactions. People sang along, not only in the crowd, but people jumped up on stage and did it as well. So, very cool. So glad I saw Riot City. They did the entire Burn the Night album, but they also did a new track, which was the one you heard in this video. So, pretty cool. So other bands worth talking about here, Entierro is a band that played day 2. They feature ex-Fates Warning guitarist Victor Arduini, but he wasn't the only ex-Fates Warning member in attendance. In the crowd was John Arch, the original Fates Warning vocalist, which was pretty interesting, a little bit of metal royalty in the house. In addition to their set, Entierro did an unexpected cover of Call for the Priest by Judas Priest, which is a bit of a deep track from Judas Priest. You don't hear it covered very much, if at all, so that was pretty fun. Mourn the Light was pretty interesting. In addition to doing material from their full-length album, they also did the new single from their upcoming EP, The Hunt. In fact, a number of bands did upcoming released material, so that's always awesome live. Of course, we should mention Seax a little bit. That's Worcester's best and longest-lasting speed metal band, at least to my knowledge. In addition to doing their classics, they also did Lamentations of Their Women, I think for the first time live, according to Carmine. So that's pretty cool, pretty unexpected again. I also wanted to pay a little bit of respect to Andrew DeCagna. He did double vocal duty, both in Ironflame as well as Icarus Witch, and had the pipes to pull off both, which is pretty amazing. I was really blown away by Ironflame in particular. I definitely bought some of their merch, which we're going to talk about soon. In fact, I remember going to the merch table and running into Andrew and saying, well, you got yourself a new fan, which he kind of dug. So yeah, great band. So I also met some other people at the show worth mentioning. I met Matt Bauer. Matt goes to a ton of these shows, and he does a lot of detailed reviews of shows on social media, and maybe other places too, I'm not really sure. Nice chap, clearly has a love and dedication to heavy metal, and the Worcester metal scene in particular, so good to meet you, sir. Also, I met Yevgeny Gromovoy. He is the drummer for Adamantis, but he is also one of the 3 organizers of Stormbringer. The other 2, of course, are Carmine Blades, who's the vocalist for Seax, as well as Dwayne Eldridge, who's a guitar player for Mourn the Light. I know Carmine a bit. I didn't get to meet Dwayne, but Yevgeny is very helpful, was very helpful, still is, in filling in some of the gaps for me regarding this festival in general. He got me some graphics as well, and got to thank him for that, but I really want to thank all 3 of these guys for putting on a killer festival. Hope we get to all chat next time I'm there, for sure. So the story of Stormbringer is pretty simple. It started with merely getting Glacier to play one night in Worcester, but then the idea snowballed to turn it into a mini festival. So that's when Dwayne came in. He's a local promoter, so he helped get some of the bands. They basically booked 2 nights at Ralph's, and then they set up a Facebook page. They got a logo done for the festival. It was done by artist Daniel Porta. And then the bands just started coming quickly, it seems. Festival, of course, was an enormous success. A lot of people were buzzing about it, talking about it during the thing, after the thing, and I definitely agree. Great job to all involved. It was really killer. And I just briefly wanted to talk about Ralph's Rock Diner. That was the venue at which this entire festival took place. They definitely deserve some of the credit for this weekend, obviously. Ralph's has been around for a while. It's a bar, it's a concert venue, it's also an actual diner, which is pretty cool because in between bands you can get food. They do burgers, they do dogs, they do all sorts of food, which is great and convenient because you don't want to go wandering in a strange city and go find a place to eat and miss out on bands. So very convenient, very cool. One curious occurrence at Ralph's, I guess it happens here and there, is that the venue has a downstairs bar. It's separate from the upstairs, which also has its own bar, but the downstairs is sometimes where the normal people hang out, the people who aren't necessarily intending to go to a metal show. And I guess Ralph's has this policy where late into a show, I don't know if it's the last hour or what, someone can fill me in the comments, they let some of those people in. They drop the cover charge. So what happens is that late in the show, after all the metal fans are liquored up and, in the pit and all that stuff, you have these like normal people filtering in. Sometimes they get into the crowd a little bit. Pretty amusing because invariably what happens is someone gets caught in a pit and they weren't expecting that and all of that. There was one girl that kind of happened to. I think she took it in stride. Very cute girl, but she was definitely thrown off by the mosh pit she got up front, but she just rolled with it, which was really amazing. I love that. Another observation I had is that musicians from the Friday set were in the audience for the Saturday set and vice versa. You know, it's one of those things, again, where musicians are also fans of this genre. So it's very cool to see that support from all the bands, this mutual support. Again, there was that feeling at Stormbringer where just everyone was in it, everyone was invested in it, and everyone had a good time. So, yeah. And of course, we should talk about the sword. There was a prop sword that was available on stage for some reason. A number of bands incorporated it into their performance. It did seem to provide a whole lot of fun and theatrics to the band, so there you go. So as for the merch I bought, clearly I went to the merch table, had to do it. Start with Stormbringer Metal Festival t-shirt. I'm so glad they did t-shirts for this event. Very cool artwork there. Daniel Porta, I will assume. It's also a back here with all 15 bands listed. Each and every one of them. Very cool. You should be jealous of this. You should have been there if you weren't. Also got an Ironflame t-shirt with a killer design on it. Definitely was excited to see that they were selling t-shirts. Speaking of the band, I did pick up their album Blood Red Victory here on vinyl. Very cool. Track listing here on the back. I did get number 96 of 200. It was a limited edition, hand numbered as it shows. Very, very cool. Also from Ironflame, I did get a sticker from them right there, as well as a very cool patch, which is going to go on the battle vest I keep talking about starting that I never do, but one day will. Maybe this will just push me further into actually putting plans into action. Maybe. Who knows? Speaking of patches, I also got a Seax one right here. They had about 4 different designs. This was the one that really stuck out to me, so I grabbed it. And I got some more vinyl. I got the EP from Adamantis. This is the Damon's Strain. Funny little aside here on this one. Eric bought this EP as well as the LP, but I think he realized he spent way too much money at the festival. And then I was like, you know what, I'll just buy this EP off you because I liked Adamantis. I thought they were a killer band, and I'd love to have some music from them on vinyl. So he sold this to me. So it is merch I got technically, but I got it through a person instead of the actual merch table. So pretty cool stuff. Of course, I would have loved to have gotten more vinyl than I did. I only got 2 records. That's probably a number of things. I was distracted by the bands and talking to people and whatnot. I would have loved to have gotten some from Greyhawk, as well as Glacier and Gatekeeper and Attacker. Those are the 4 bands that stick out that I would love to have in my vinyl collection. Again, I'm not sure if they just didn't have any at the show or I wasn't paying enough attention, but I can get all of those records through the usual channels online. I know they have vinyl, so I'll definitely be doing that. And when I do, of course, I'll talk about them all in future episodes of Vinyl Haul. I'll also go into the 2 records I did show on that same show. So definitely check back to this channel for all of that. Speaking of which, if you're new to this channel, or maybe you saw me at the show and you're wondering who the hell I am, my name is Matt. This is the Accusation Network, where each and every week I do videos on metal vinyl collecting. I also do videos on classic and modern metal bands in general. If that sounds of interest, definitely like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and share this video with some friends. Of course, let me know what you thought about this festival and the bands you just watched. Hell, maybe you were at the shows. Maybe you have some favorite moments you'd like to share. Or maybe you have cool metal festivals in the places where you live. You should tell me about those. In fact, tell me all of that and anything else relevant in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.